Hi there. Today we're going to discuss percent and estimation. What will we learn today? We're going to learn how to estimate the percent of a number, and we're going to find percents greater than 100 or less than 1. Our standards are to use proportional relationships to solve a multi-step ratio and percent problems, and then we're going to solve multi-step real-life and mathematical problems. Estimate the percent of a number. Sometimes an exact answer is not needed when using percents. You can estimate the percent and or the fraction before you multiply. Sometimes you can multiply using decimals or fraction versions of the percent. Example 1. Jody has paid 62% of the $500 she owes for her loan. Estimate 62% of 500. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to estimate. 62% can be estimated as 60%. So we're going to say this is about 60% of 500. Next, we're going to multiply. Now we use the fraction version of 60% because it was easier to multiply these numbers. They were kind of compatible when we're going to be dividing out common factors. So 3/5 times 500 equals 300. So 62% of 500 is just about 300. Example 2. Marita and her friends ordered a pizza that costed $14.72. She's responsible for 20% of the bill. How much money will she need to pay? Well, the first thing we're going to do is estimate 20% of $14.72. And I would estimate that to be about 20% of $15. So I estimated the $14.72. Wasn't really necessary to round the 20. It was already rounded to a nice number. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to convert 20% to 0.2. And then we're going to multiply that. And 0.2 times 15 is 3. So Marita should pay about $3. Percents greater than 100 or less than 1. You can also estimate percents of numbers when the percent is greater than 100 or less than 1. So let's estimate 122% of 50. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to estimate the numbers. And I estimated 122% to 120%. And 50 was a pretty good number to leave alone. So now what we can do is we can now multiply either a fraction version or decimal version of the percentage. And for this example, I chose a fraction version. So 120% equals 6 over 5 because it was 120 over 100, and that simplified down to 6 over 5. So in multiplying 6 over 5 times 50 over 1, I divided out common factors, which was 5, and I was left with 6 times 10, which is 60, and then 1 times 1, which is 1, and that equaled 60. So 122% of 50 is about 60. Example 4. There are 789 7th grade students at the Washington Middle School. About 1/4% of the 7th grade students have traveled overseas. What is the approximate number of 7th grade students that have traveled overseas? And explain. All right, so here we have a percentage that's less than 100. So our decimal is going to be a little small. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to say 1/4% of 789. I estimated 789 to 800. All right, so now we're going to multiply. I chose a decimal version of our percentage, so 1/4% equals 0.0025. Multiply that times 800, and I got 2. So about 2 7th grade students have traveled overseas. Example 5. Last year, 639 students attended a summer camp. Of those who attended this year, 0.5% also attended summer camp last year. So about how many students attended the summer camp 2 years in a row? So the first thing we want to find out is how much is 0.5% of 639. So I estimated 639 to be about 600. That way it was easier to multiply these numbers mentally. So 0.5% equals 0.005. Multiply that times 600, and I got about 3. So about 3 students attended summer camp 2 years in a row. Today we estimated percents using fractions and decimals. I hope that video was helpful. Thank you. Bye.